Birdie Bros for the final day of Sumner County Media Days. Main Street Preps Northcentral Regional Sports out of there. Blaine, Kellar here. First off, thank you so much to all the teams to this point who have come on and helped talk about, helped promote their programs. Thank you to Station Camp, White House, and Liberty Creek for their appearances on Monday. Yesterday, we had a great showing from JP2, Gallatin, and Portland. Today, we've got Westmoreland, Beach, and Hendersonville closing us out. Before we get to that, I wanted to give out a quick omission from yesterday and hopefully a little bit of grace. We're talking about 13 and a half hours of live streams here. I'm bound to get a name or two wrong, and I think I did that when talking with JP2's coordinators about Ensworth transfer. Richard Thigpen meant his younger brother, Pierce. Richard's still at Ensworth, believe he's a Southern Mississippi commitment. Pierce will be transferring to JP2. He announced that during the summer. And then I think also Hudson Holman, Hudson Curley, probably got those names mixed up every now and again. Hudson Curley, the star receiver, coming back for JP2. With all of that out of the way, I want to remind you that we're brought to you by Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, and Steve Schrum Simply Home Realty. We are here for a little bit longer than what we've been the last 2 days. We'll be here, it is 2 o'clock right now, here till 3:30 on this Wednesday afternoon. Then we'll have Beach coming on from 5:30 to 7. Hendersonville coach James Beasley in the bunch rounding us out until 8:30. All that said, let's talk a little Westmoreland Eagles football with the new lead man, Coach Ryan Harris. Coach Harris, what has the process looked like of taking over this team from Chad Perry and kind of putting your own stamp on this program through the summer?
Well, I don't think it's been a dramatic difference for the kids. We've retained the majority of our coaches. We were able to bring in Mike Dickerson, who's been at Clay County. He's come and joined our staff. I've found one or two community coaches who've been gracious and kicked in some time and helped us out. We're doing a lot of the same things that we've always done. A few more days during the summer here and there, approaching a few things differently. Our philosophies aren't exactly the same, but we're pretty similar in Coach Perry and I and the things that we feel like Westmoreland needs to do to win. So I think as far as the kids in the community, it's not been a dramatic difference so far, and I don't know that it will be to the naked eye when the season starts. So.
And how important was that for you guys with Coach Perry stepping down, still staying in that athletic director role, but stepping away from the football program, especially considering the success you guys had? How important was it to keep things the same? Chad and I had a great relationship. We worked together for several years. He put a lot of trust in me to run the defense for all those years. Never questioned anything I did, and I've ran the weight room. I've run various parts of the program through the time that I've been there as an assistant, and so it was a fairly smooth transition. We are going to do some things differently. Defensively, we're going to stay pretty much the same. The offense, we had to change some terminology and some things, partly because our coaching staff changed. But the core of what we do, Westmoreland football is going to look a lot the same that it always has. Well, what conversations did you have maybe with Coach Perry after that season? When did those conversations start of him maybe stepping away? And was it your guys' thought kind of from the start that you would step in there?
We had not discussed it in great detail over the years. From time to time, things would come up. He knew that he wasn't going to do it forever. And being a head coach, the title of that's not something that I've ever really chased. I just like coaching and being around the kids. It doesn't matter what your role is. You're going to try to do it well no matter what it is. But in some discussions, he came to me and told me he thought he was ready to get out of it. And at that point, he and I and Mr. Duffer, our principal, we started to have conversations about what that would look like and how we would be able to replace Chad's role in the program. But then with me filling his role, we've got to have people to fill the roles I was doing.
Right.
And so we came up with a plan for that all of us could live with. And didn't take long. We talked about it for a few days, and they gave me the vote of confidence, and hit the ground running after that.
It's not something like you just said, that you ever chased, but is it still exciting to be a high school head coach?
Yeah, sure it is. I mean, you're getting to do something completely your way, and so it's new, it's different. There are things I'm learning as I go, but fortunately, I've been doing this for 18 years as a coach. I grew up in a football family. My dad did this for a long time, so I knew the things that were going to be coming. The biggest thing that I wouldn't say caught me off guard, but we've got a lot of projects going on around the stadium right now. There's a lot of things going on in Sumner County, not just at our school, but at Beach, Hendersonville, Portland, and we've got some of that going as well. Right now I don't have a fence, and they're finishing up putting new lights in the stadium. So those have been some things to deal with. But, as far as the coaching part of it and everything, parents and the administrative part, it's been pretty seamless, and so it's exciting, but at the same time, I'm trying to stay pretty even-keeled. It's a long season. There's a lot of things that, we're going to have bumps in the road as we go. And the kids are going to feed off my energy, and I don't want to get too high or too low at any point. So.
Sounds like you have a really good support system to rely on. And both in Coach Perry, someone who's still in the building, and then your dad, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the head coach before. Coach Perry, right?
He's also still in the building, serving as co-athletic director. Mr. Duffer, my administrator, I played for him. He was my outside linebacker and offensive line coach at Westmoreland High School.
Wow.
And then my assistant coaches have been great. They filled in and picked up some slack. I left today, and Coach Dickerson was mowing the field because I had to be here. Got Coach Hafner here with me today. Everybody that I've asked to pitch in and help out along the way, doing everything they can for me. So it's been great.
What a benefit kind of will that be throughout the season? If you run into something maybe that you've experienced more as a defensive coordinator than a head coach, are you going to lean on those guys a little bit to kind of figure out how to run through that?
Uniquely, it's my father's there in the building, Coach Perry there, Mr. Duffer there, all football people. But they very much leave me to do it my way. They let me do the football part. None of them want to be influential in that or meddlesome. They want to be supportive. I exchanged texts with Coach Perry earlier today, and the last couple of days we're getting this bus list ready, and we need this done for TWSA. And my father as athletic director is kicking in on some of this fence stuff and making a plan for some things there. So it's taken some things off of me to be able to focus on coaching football because I'm still the defensive coordinator. So that's huge for us.
Speak on that a little bit, kind of balancing a head coaching role with defensive coordinator. How much of a task has that been early on for you?
So far, not bad. When you're not in pads, there's only so much you can do defensively anyway. So we're very much based on skill, pass game right now in the summertime. Of course, spring practice was very much, physicality, finding out who could play. And here in a few days, we're going to transition back to that when we get the shoulder pads back on. And so I've been very much reminding myself, hey, I've had to do this and this and this, but now, hey, let's focus on football. Let's take 2 or 3 hours right here, and let's get some things ready for practice that we're going to be very specific with, and I'm going to have to continue to do that throughout the season. Make time for all that.
Talking with new Westmoreland coach Ryan Harris on Sumner County Media Days. Coach, you walk into a big situation. Coming off the season that you guys had last year, 10 wins, quarterfinal appearance. How much fun was that ride last year? And what was maybe your favorite part of it?
Oh, it was great. The favorite part of it really throughout was the kids. And that's the reason I do this. The relationship with the kids. We have great kids in our community and in our program, and they do everything we asked. And so seeing them progress through the year, we felt like we could be pretty good going into it. We saw that we had some talent with Cooper White and Cade Perry and Matthew Martin, some guys that could do some things with the ball. Up front, we had some kids that would really get after it. And fortunately got several of those kids back this year. But once it started rolling, we could kind of see where it was going. About 3 or 4 games in, we transitioned to running a 3-3-5 defensively, and it really got fun for our kids. We got super simple. We said, go get them. And, offensively, we just kept rolling and getting better. And, it kind of, the top mark as far as the regular season, that East Robertson game was phenomenal.
Sure.
If anybody saw that, 7-6 game, come down to the very last minute with us punching the end zone. Super, super exciting. And we hadn't done that in several years, to be able to finish off a region championship. And then, of course, obviously, you're getting into the quarterfinals of the playoffs. And Marion County's a great football team, wound up winning it all. Wish we had 2 or 3 plays back in that game, and maybe things are a little different. And, you're right down to the very end of that. So.
Yeah, I was at that Marion County game, the quarterfinal in Class 2A. You kind of touched on it there. What do you look back on when you see that game and kind of how the weeks after it unfolded with Marion County winning the championship?
Well, when you get to that point, there's no bad teams. You get to the quarterfinals, semifinals, there's no bad teams. I remember thinking back when I was at Beach, 2009, we won the state title. And the biggest game in that playoff run was probably the quarterfinals with Gallatin. There was a lot of people there that night, obviously. Big game, both very talented. At that time, we didn't know what we would see if we won that quarterfinal game out of Memphis Mitchell in the semifinals. Very talented as well. Had a couple players that went to Alabama. It was a shootout. I've been at Westmoreland a while. We knew what York Institute or what we would get out of that region would look like. Great teams, well coached, but we matched up well. So we felt like if we could have pulled off that quarterfinal game, we'd have had a great chance. To be honest with you, I didn't watch the state championship game. I couldn't bear to watch it.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit about it, saw a few highlights, but it is what it is. You move on to the next season.
When you have a season like that, a lot of people look back on how pivotal that senior class was.
Mm-hmm.
What did that bunch do to make a year like that possible at Westmoreland?
Believed and worked. They believed in their coaches. They believed in one another. They were a pretty close group, that group of seniors. The seniors that I have now that were on the field, we're very close with that group. And we're trying to find that commitment again to one another. That leadership, that love for one another and belief in our coaches. We have added a guy or two. People are in different roles, but right now we're taking steps every single day to try to move in that same direction of growing together.
We'll talk a little bit about the players, that next group coming in just a moment, but one more to kind of put a bow on the season that was at Westmoreland.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to generalize, but what exactly did we, the outsiders to Westmoreland, miss that like you said at the start of the year, thought there was a chance to be a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure anybody started the season saying that team is going to go toe-to-toe with what would be the state champions, and that team is going to win 10 games, that team's going to go to the quarterfinals.
So what made that happen? How did it come about?
Yeah, I mean,
we had fun. Practice can be a bear when you're out there every day, and it's the same guys over and over. But because of that close nature of those kids, it was a lot of fun. And that's one thing I've tried to do a better job of as a coach. As I've gotten older, yes, everything we do is important. That's what I tell the kids. If we don't waste our time on things that aren't important. But just because it's important doesn't mean we can't enjoy the work. We're there a lot. We need to laugh. We need to cut up, and it makes you want to be there, and it makes you want to. It makes you want to commit and work even harder. And then when you see a little bit of success, you keep wanting to come back. And another thing with that group, very, very intelligent, very ball smart. Hunter Gray, Cooper White, Daniel Forsman, the Perrys, very savvy ball players. So as we're working, we're teaching, we're instructing, we're getting physical reps and getting better, but you're having that fun along with it, and things went by quick, and it just worked out.
Sumner County Media Days, Day 3 continuing here at Birdie Bros in Hendersonville. We're brought to you by K1 Speed, Volunteer Fence, The Farmer's Bake, and Steve Schrum Simply Home Real Estate. You mentioned Cooper White, Sumner County Player of the Year, who has since graduated. It's cliche to ask, how do you fill in that production? But run us through the running back room and what that's looking like and trying to get that yardage back.
Well, we're actually pretty excited about it. We've got some guys that are eager. It's probably going to be a little bit by committee. Start from left to right. Junior tailback, Aiden Freeman. Gonna step in that tailback role, but we're going to use him in a lot of different ways. Isaiah Scandon, same position, pushing him every day for reps. Grant Lilly and Braxton Cook at fullback, bigger bruiser type kids, got a little bit of speed, a little bit of ball skill, excited to see what they can do between the tackles. And then Dylan Gann and James Urell playing the wingback position for us, who bring a totally different skill set. They both catch the ball well, they run great routes, very explosive runners, put their foot in the ground, change direction very well. So excited to see how they continue to develop. Big thing for us, running the wing T, blocking is important for a running back. A lot of offenses, that's not a factor, but in what we do, you got to be willing to block for one another, and that'll be a deciding factor again. Next week when we get the pads on, we're going to go back into that more and more. And that'll separate a lot of things for us. But I think all of those young men are going to play, and of course Xander Hodge is going to be our quarterback, stepping in first time as a junior. So far this summer in 7-on-7, he's progressing really, really well. We're very pleased with him, and he's going to step up here in a few minutes and talk with him.
Yeah, Xander's somebody we'll talk to in a moment, and I do want to touch on the quarterback situation with you there. When you talk about your running back room, in the wing T offense, how important is it to have a couple of guys that all do different things? Or as a coach, are you looking for, a combination of speed, some power, some pass catching?
100%. And that's one thing about all the kids I just named is they're all a little bit different, and we're not trying to be cookie cutter offense. We're not going to be just purely traditional wing T. We want to do a few new things. And so we want to look at, what does each kid do well? Some are better blockers, some are better receivers, some are just better with the ball in their hands. So we're going to try to put each one of them in positions to be successful individually, because that's what can help the team the most.
The quarterback position, Xander Hodge, as you mentioned, right now in line to take over for Cade Perry. At Westmoreland, you guys have had a trend here recently of just a one-year quarterback kind of deal. The senior comes in, leads the team, then another kid comes through. Xander's a junior, right? So what made you go with somebody who's going to be able to have 2 years of experience in this offense and leading this team?
Well, that was kind of part of the progression even under Coach Perry. Xander's been our JV quarterback the last couple of years. He's grown up doing it. His older brother was a quarterback in our program several years ago. He understands it. He's point guard for the basketball team, plays baseball. He's just an in general athlete. He knows how to play ball. And didn't know exactly when, we did make some changes with the offense this year, and didn't know exactly when we were going to be able to bring him in because of that baseball schedule with high school baseball. So actually got very fortunate. The baseball coach, Coach Will Trout, and I played high school baseball together. And I went to him and he said, I asked him, I said, would it be possible to get him for a few minutes in the mornings in the spring and start introducing the new play calls and things like that to him? And he said absolutely. And so gave us a little bit of a jump start there to be getting things taught. That's part of what's got us where we're at right now. And so we're fairly comfortable with where we are now, and with Xander, and still more to learn, but very happy with where he's at right now.
Based on those morning sessions that you guys have had, what can you say about how similar or how different he's going to be to previous Westmoreland quarterbacks of late?
You need to see him play basketball. He distributes the ball. Kind of just got a little moxie about him. Everything may not always be mechanically sound, but it's getting better all the time, and he just plays the game, and he's not really afraid to go play the game. He's not afraid to make mistakes, and I like that. Quarterbacks are going to throw some interceptions. They're going to turn the ball over. Just go play. Go compete. And, I don't want mechanical people on any part of the field in any phase. Go compete. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and just leave it all out there. And he's really progressing with that. And I think when we get the pads on, we're going to see it even more. When we get to see him move around more, see a pass rush come after him, and him just react. And, we're working on bootleg the other day, and, I told him, this is the original RPO. You're running it till somebody stops you. When they come off, that linebacker comes, just dish it to him.
Right.
It's like a fast break. So far that's translated pretty good.
I've talked with coaches in the past who run into that situation of their quarterback kind of being on that baseball team through the spring. And in past off seasons, I've seen teams kind of go to the next guy in line and say, well, this guy had reps in the spring, so this guy's going to take over. You had confidence that Xander was going to be your guy, it sounds like, for a while.
Oh, 100%. Westmoreland's a little different situation as well. We've got roughly 540 kids in the school. I joke with our coaches sometimes. Sometimes we can look down as far as the 6th grade and know who the quarterback's going to be. There's just only so many kids in the school, and you got to have a certain ability about yourself. Just because you can throw a football doesn't mean you can play quarterback. You just got to be able to play the position. And so, we've kind of known Xander was going to be this. And, so we took steps to try to progress him. And like I said, he's done a great job. And Coach Hafner's been a big part of that. Probably for the first time in program history, we have a guy just committed to coaching the quarterback. And that's big. You're going to get better a lot faster when you're being coached every minute of every day. And even in the wing tee, it's a critical position. He has to have command of the entire offense, and that's another big part of why we've progressed, or at least I feel like we have, thus far.
Talking with Ryan Harris on Sumner County Media Days, we talked a little offense. Let's touch on the defense now, something that you've had a hand in the last few years. For Westmoreland last season, that defense was, I think fair to say, incredible. It was rare for teams to score 20 points on you. How transferable is that success or that scheme to what you've got going this year?
Somewhat. Defensively, I believe in being systematic. I believe in odd front defenses. That's just what I know. There's nothing wrong with anything else or any other philosophy, but it's what I know well. And I feel like defensively you have to have a system because you've got to have such a foundation. Offensively, obviously, that's also true, but you maybe have to cater things to your skill set a little more, depending on the kids that you have. We can do the same thing defensively, but defense really needs some experience. You don't know where the ball's going when it snaps. The offense has that advantage. So it takes a little longer to really get to the point we were defensively last year. Most of those young men were at least in their second year starting for us, some of them in their third. So we graduated a lot of experience. But right now I'm pretty happy with where we're at. I think we're going to be pretty good up front in the defensive line again. We've got the majority of that unit back. Our linebackers and our secondary, we lost several kids. But the great thing about last year is we were really able to try to build depth last year. We felt like after five or six games, we may make a deep run. So tried to save some legs. Those guys that were starting didn't need every single rep. So a lot of these young men that are stepping in this year, Braxton Cook, excuse me, the names it's getting to be a long day. These defensive backs, Xander Hodge, Freeman has been playing since he's a freshman and getting reps with our first group.
So Aaron Freeman?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And so we've been progressing a lot of these kids. They were in backup roles and last year saying, hey, somebody turns an ankle, we need you. And it's important. And so when they got 6, 7, 8 weeks or longer of, I'm practicing as a first-team guy, now we're in a pretty good spot, And fortunately, we've had a couple of kids surprise us so far this summer. James Urell came back to the football team and has stepped in, and we're hoping he does a great job this year. Still got a lot to figure out, but the pieces are starting to come together. We just got to keep progressing every day.
A few more for Westmoreland coach Ryan Harris on Sumner County Media Days. You're in a new region, Coach, adding, really just a complete new look for you here with some Metro teams and White House Heritage.
Yeah.
How do you what are the challenges that you're going to have going up against those teams this season?
Well, it may be a different style of football a little bit than what we've been used to. That's okay. We're not as familiar with them. They're not very familiar with us. That's okay as well.
Could be an advantage, I guess, on the flip side of that coin.
Absolutely. Huh? There's a little bit of familiarity with White House Heritage. We've been playing them, most years for the last 6-8 years. And so there's a familiarity there, and that's fine. But where we're at right now, I'm not worried about them. I was talking with the kids yesterday. Control what you can control. We're here. We're worried about us. That's way on down in the season. The way TWS's got the region set now, region games are in the back half of the year.
Yeah.
We'll worry about that when we get there. Right now, we're focused on us. A lot can change between now and then for them and us. Kids can move in, kids can quit, kids can get injured. A lot of stuff can happen. We're still 5 weeks from the first game. Mm-hmm. We're 10 or 11 weeks from the first region game.
Right.
So let's work on us and do all we can do to be ready when that time comes.
That Metro speed is something that
Mm-hmm.
people talk about. How familiar are you with what that kind of presents with dealing with some Nashville area schools?
A little bit, even though we haven't played down there in film trade and things, you see this stuff.
And as a defensive coordinator, I'm sure you know how to game plan against some speedy guys, how to kind of counter that, right?
Sure. Well, even in our past schedule, if you saw Gabe and Zach Borders the last couple of years,
right? Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
Uh-huh.
We did a pretty good job against Gabe Borders for a few years. When his brother got healthy and I put them both in the lineup, it got a little more difficult. But I would put those two up against anybody that I've seen in the area lately. And, there are things you can do. But, as far as all the game planning and stuff, that's a week-to-week deal. We're really focused on how we do what we do, our culture building right now, and trying to continue to get buy-in, which right now I feel like we're getting. We got 53 young men on the roster, and I feel like they're doing what's asked of them and giving us all they got right now. So.
Yeah, the Border Brothers, part of that Macon County state championship team, and you get to go up against the reigning state champs again this coming season. Always a fun start to the year when you two teams get together. One more big one I wanted to ask you about. Since we don't want to look too far down the schedule, let's talk about one of the wildest week one scenarios I've ever heard of. You're going to Kentucky with Station Camp for a doubleheader football game.
We are, yes. That was something they reached out to us, and something I want to try to do moving forward. We were actually at Warren East and Bowling Green yesterday, last night for 7-on-7 with where we're located, and then what's around us. If you look at the geography, there's not very many schools our size nearby anymore. Hartsville's close by. We worked with Hartsville in a scrimmage and a 7-on-7 recently. But you get down here to Station Camp, Gallatin Beach, that's probably not teams we need to compete with on a routine basis, although we're going to Station Camp here in a few minutes for 7-on-7. But I kind of want to start reaching out a little bit to some of these Kentucky teams. Allen County Scottsville, who we'll get in year 2, used to be a great rivalry for us, just 15 minutes up the road. We haven't played in 8 or 10 years now, and so we want to reestablish that relationship and maybe reach out to a few other teams that are maybe closer to our size, that are a little closer up there.
You guys have the second game that Friday night, I think. Is it Station Camp and then Allen County Scottsville first, and then afterward you guys will take on Greenwood. It's a 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock? Is that right?
I believe they start they're planning 6 and us roughly starting at 8.
Yeah.
We may start a little bit after 8 would be my guess, but I think it's 6 and 8 o'clock on paper.
There are some really fun first week games in Sumner County, and it's really hard to say no to not seeing 2 of them in the same spot for week one. Coach, it's been great talking with you here on Sumner County Media Days. Excited to see how your first team as head coach plays out at Westmoreland. Excited to talk to some of your players on the other side of this break. Xander Hodge and Carson Borders join us. You're watching Sumner County Media Days at Birdie Bros in Hendersonville. We're brought to you by Main Street Media Television.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions, and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our non-Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
Thank you to our sponsors for Sumner County Media Day, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Volunteer Fence, Steve Schrum, Simply Home, Real Estate, and our host sponsor, Birdie Bros, Chris Jones here, big part in getting us a home for Sumner County Media Days. We thank you so much for having us here. And,
our pleasure.
Tell us about Birdie Bros.
Yeah, so we had this crazy wild idea, my business partner and I, a couple years ago, to bring indoor golf and a sports bar concept kind of together. I've lived in Hendersonville, since 1994, and realized that there's not a lot to do up here. And so we decided to change that and bring a little bit of, unfortunately people characterize it as, it's Top Golf, but inside. And that's kind of what we've ran with for a little bit. But we're a sports bar at heart, first and foremost. And then we've got 7 indoor golf simulators that you can come and enjoy as much as you want, whether it's trying to hone in your golf skills or just a night out and looking for some entertainment with your kids or anything in between. So
can release some stress, knocking some balls down too. Huh?
Absolutely.
I've heard great things about the menu too. Our photographer John Decker said he got an ice cream cookie. And,
little cookie skillet.
The burger was really good. Tell us about what we've got on the menu.
Yeah, so we've got we actually just redid our menu about 30 days ago. So the burger that he was talking about is actually one of our most popular. It's an American Wagyu burger. It's a big, massive half-pound burger that people really love and enjoy. But yeah, we characterize our menu as an elevated sports bar feel. So there's lots of sports bars, whether it's Buffalo Wild Wings or others in the area. But we kind of go above and beyond with our scratch kitchen in the back and making sure that we're homemaking sauces. We're trying to step out of the traditional as much as possible to give people a different experience. So we're here for that, and hopefully people will come by and give us a try. A lot of people also are very timid. They think that, Birdie Bros, and they hear the name and they go, oh, it's just golf. And it's like, guys, you can come and have a great meal. You can come and have lunch. We've got lots of specials throughout the week, so would love to see if we can have anybody out and see what their thoughts are, get some feedback.
Oh, he's making me hungry with this menu. Be sure to check out Birdie Bros all throughout this week for Sumner County Media Days here in Indian Lake. A great location, great place for some golf, some food, some drinks. We'll be here all week, but even beyond that, be sure to check out Birdie Bros. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome, appreciate it.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Schrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards? Steve Schrum with Simply Home 2006-2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Schrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Schrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Schrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Schrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveschrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence. Located in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
Sumner County Media Days is brought to you by Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, Steve Schrum, Simply Home Real Estate. Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar now joined by new quarterback Xander Hodge and senior Carson Borders. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Busy day, it sounds like. You're about to head out to station camp for some 7-on-7. Xander, let's start with you and what you've seen through this part of the spring and summer in kind of getting used to that quarterback spot.
We've just been practicing, and I've just been trying to pay attention to what the coaches are saying, like very detailed, and try to get better at footwork. I'll be playing better competition this year, playing varsity.
For you, this is something that Coach Harris had mentioned was kind of in the works for a long time with how Westmoreland kind of works, is that they thought for a while this is our guy who's going to be the quarterback. How much does that mean to you to kind of have that confidence of the staff behind you?
Feels pretty good. I've been playing quarterback a little bit in Pee Wee, then middle school. We worked through it, and we run a lot of the same stuff. So it's not much new stuff, and then just got to work through the better competition and the bigger people.
Cade Perry, the quarterback last year for Westmoreland. Before him, Jacob Richardson was quarterback for a year. Then Cameron Eden had a standout year at the quarterback spot, I guess now 3 years ago. That feels way sooner than what it actually was. But can you kind of compare yourself, if you could, to those guys, what you're similar to with them and maybe how you're different?
With them, Jacob Richardson was a quarterback and I was a freshman, and we would pass. I'd be with them when we're passing and working through offense and stuff. So I would pay attention to what he was doing and try to learn from him. Same thing with Cade. Tried to learn from him while we were practicing.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the skill position players that are coming in behind you and around you in the Westmoreland offense, I guess. What you've liked out of the running back room, And then for the guys outside as well at receiver.
We've got our running backs, Aaron and Dylan, and they're pretty good route runners, and I can count on them to catch it. Our fullbacks can count on them to catch and block for me on the backside, and our wide receivers, I can pretty much count on them too as well.
What does it look like when you and Coach Harris both mention the ability for the running backs to be pass catchers? Is that a lot of screening action, or are you taking them out on hitches? How does the offense kind of work with the running backs in the pass game?
They can do pretty much anything we ask them to do. They're very good at listening and just learning what they need to do and when they need to do it.
Turn over to Carson here. Both you and Xander, I feel like, had an opportunity to step up either in the position group that you're in or as leaders for a team that lost a lot of leaders last year. How have you tried to step up in that way?
I'm just trying to keep everybody in line when we're in practice and making sure everybody's on top of stuff and just trying to push people every day, the younger kids, and trying to help them and let them learn.
What can you say about this younger group that's come in? Have things surprised you, impressed you about them so far?
They've impressed me. I think they're ready to step up into high school from the middle school, like the change, and I think they're ready to learn a lot and get ready to go play on Fridays.
On the other side of that, how motivated maybe is the senior class that you're in based off the success you guys had last year?
I think we're very motivated because we were very close to that center class last year, and I think we just want to be able to go out there and kind of repeat what happened last year and try to go as far as we can with us.
What was your connection with Coach Harris a year ago as your defensive coordinator, and what confidence do you have in him taking over this program?
I have a lot of confidence. He's always been he's been a great coach since I've been up there. He's always pushed us. He's been a friend too. He's always been there. He holds us accountable, and he makes sure we're on top of things, and just pushes us to be the best we can be, really.
Maybe both of you guys can answer this. One emphasis that he had was that last year was fun. The whole season, the practices, those were fun moments for you guys. What ways does he make practices and kind of these dog days of summer fun?
Every now and then, after working hard, we'll cut up a little bit, make it fun and enjoy it.
Carson?
We really just go out there. We're all close. We're friends, so it's not even it's not even that it gets made fun. We just have fun out there doing what we love together, everybody, and we cut up and carry on while we're out there working.
Talking with Westmoreland quarterback Xander Hodge and senior Carson Borders on Sumner County Media Days. We're here at Birdie Bros this section till 3:30. Then we'll come back at 5:30 talking with Beach and Coach Anthony Crabtree. Close out with Hendersonville and the Commandos. Wanted to wonder if you guys could reflect a little bit on what Coach Chad Perry did across his time at Westmoreland. Was that a tough kind of moment when he stepped away as football coach? And then on the flip side of that, how excited were you to have Coach Harris come in?
I think it was a big change that we weren't, I think it was kind of unexpected a little bit, but I think Coach Harris has done a great job stepping up and taking over that role, and I think he's doing really well.
Xander, what do you have to add to that?
Just like him, it's a big change. I'm enjoying it. It was unexpected, like he said. We had no clue it was going to happen. And, yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Coach Harris said that Coach Hafner, Ian Hafner, who we'll talk to in a second, is, for one of the first times, a quarterback's coach that Westmoreland has. How much of a benefit is he to you?
In practice, whenever they're doing special teams and stuff, we'll do some one-on-one, get footwork and throwing down. So I get some good passing reps.
What's your arm strength, Xander? How far can I know most quarterbacks probably have that in the back of their mind, right? How far your range is?
I could probably throw about 45, 50.
Not in the game, though, right?
Probably not.
That would be a shocker. No slide to Westmoreland there, but if I heard there was a 50-yard pass play for Westmoreland football, I figured it'd start 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, then go for 52 yards, you know. Blaine Kellar continuing Sumner County Media Days here with a couple of Westmoreland players. We talked a lot with Coach Ryan Harris about the highlights of last season. Whether you were on the sideline or in the game, what were some of your favorite moments, favorite games that you guys got to experience?
My favorite part was definitely beating East Robertson. We've always been like a rivalry, when we got out there and when I was out there with all the seniors, especially when we beat them. And that was part of my favorite memory, I'd say.
Did that feel like maybe it was a level of realizing how good Westmoreland could be that year, getting over that hump, going maybe from good team to great team?
I'd say a little bit, but I think that we always had in the back of our heads that we had the opportunity to be something special last year, and I think that did push us a little bit over the top and really think we could go win it all.
Xander, top moments maybe outside of East Robertson, what do you got?
Enjoyed beating Heritage, White House Heritage.
Yeah.
It was a fun, exciting game.
That was a good one.
Another fun one was East Rob, like he said. It was also exciting. It stayed close the whole time. Never knew which direction it was going to go, but we had the energy. We pushed through.
The end of that season too. The playoff run. What do you what comes back to mind about the run that you guys went on from November on? Outside of the Marion County game, we won't touch on that.
You mean like after the season, or
kind of during that playoff run? Which games were really memorable for you?
definitely the Monterey game? Because my junior, or no, it would have been my sophomore year when they beat us. They ran all over us my sophomore year.
Yeah.
We came back, ran through them during the season. Then when we beat them again in the playoffs, that was a really enjoyable moment.
Xander, close us out here. When you see a season like last year, from both the quarterback position, from the offense point of view, from all of Westmoreland football, how does that motivate you or excite you to keep that going under kind of a new regime?
Very motivated. I'd like to at least try to match what we had last season. Just pushes me to work hard and try to beat them, like in a competition with our friends that we graduated.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that moxie that Coach Harris talked about. It came out at the end there, a little reserved, Xander, but I think that a little bit of that bravado came out at the end. We got it out of you. Thank you to Xander Hodge. Thank you to Carson Borders for joining us on Sumner County Media Days. We'll talk with assistant coach Ian Hafner when we come back. Stay tuned on Main Street Media Television.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Schrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards? Steve Schrum with Simply Home 2006-2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Schrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Schrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Schrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Schrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveschrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence. Located in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions, and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our non-Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
We're back on Sumner County Media Days talking with assistant coach Ian Hafner, record-setting beach wide receiver who coordinates the quarterbacks and defensive backs for Westmoreland in year 4 as a coach. Start there. What have you learned through your short time as a young coach in high school football?
Well, I always loved football, and I knew I wanted to get into it. But in my short, going on year 4, I've learned that you got to be patient. Just because I could understand some things that, not only as a coach, but as a teacher trying to teach kids in the classroom, it's not every kid's going to learn it the same way you did. So just being more patient with kids and understand that they are kids and that they're going to make mistakes, and trying to help them build and grow and finding just as many ways to explain one thing as I can.
Talk a little bit about your path and how you ended up at Westmoreland. You played some college ball, right?
Yes, Cumberland University, yep.
How did you end up at Westmoreland?
Well, Chase Brooks, actually the head coach at East Robertson, was a coach of mine at Beach High School, and if I'm correct, I think he played underneath Coach Perry at Portland. And then Mr. Duffer, our principal, his son was my quarterback coach in high school before I moved to wide receiver.
Wow.
And just connections.
Yeah.
Really connections. I was in a middle school before Westmoreland, just as like a little teacher's aide, like a resource assistant, waiting for the next school year to get an education job. And just the right people. I got in contact with the right people who pointed me in the right direction. And
to kind of get your career started, coaching career started in that way, how grateful are you for that? It sounds like that's what you wanted to do, and you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. It didn't take me no time at all to find a job. I talked to a couple people, Chase Brooks being one of those, and I interviewed with Chad Perry, then met Mr. Duffer, and the first thing Mr. Duffer said to me was, "I just got off the phone with my son about you." So Westmoreland's a great school. I'm glad I'm here. And if nothing changes, I'll probably spend my entire career at the same place, which is exciting because you know what you're going to get every day when you go in. And I'm not a big fan of huge change, but I just love where I'm at. I really love Westmoreland. It's a great place to be.
Similarities, you kind of harped on that there for a second, but this has been a season of change with Coach Perry leaving, Coach Harris coming in. How have you kind of embraced that change and taken on? Have you taken on anything more since Coach Perry kind of exited?
I think that they're both very similar with Coach Harris and Coach Perry. And they have a lot of the same philosophies, and they're both two people who show up every single day. They're the first one in, the last one to leave. They're there on the weekends. I think Coach Harris has probably been up at that field house every single day since school's let out, trying to get things in order. As far as assignments, I get to work with the quarterbacks this year. I was the wide receiver split-in coach, but I get to help out with the pass game a little bit. We're changing things. We're still running some wing tee, but we're going to do some hybrid stuff with that, looking into RPOs and different types of concepts that we haven't ran in the past. We feel like we've got some guys who we can throw the ball to and get things done. But as far as assignments, I think I go in, and Coach Harris is one of those guys that I don't need a title on anything. I'll do anything he asks me to do. I'm kind of the young guy on the staff, so I've been delegated the technology guy. So anything
Help him set up some huddles or something
absolutely
like that. Yeah.
anything that involves technology, I help out, and just really anything he needs. So.
You mentioned the RPO. That's kind of the bread and butter of this new age, offense. People love to throw out that RPO term. Is that difficult to have that run pass kind of option when you're playing out of a wing T formation?
Yes, it can be difficult, but the kids we have, they work hard. They show up every single day. They run the right concepts. When you can get some good pre-snap reads, all right, run pass option, not necessarily a mesh in there unless it depends on how you run it.
Yeah.
But trying to get Hodge to understand coverages, and which he's doing a great job looking at pre-snap reads. And if there's a guy out there that's hot and we like it, just let the guy stand up and throw the ball. If the team's going to give us 5 or 6 yards, we're going to try to take advantage of it as much as we can.
Were you involved in those morning meetings that Coach Harris had with Xander during the spring? What did those look like?
Well, Coach Trout, our head baseball coach, really grateful for him. A lot of coaches, I don't think, not necessarily our school, but just in general, a lot of coaches might not be okay with giving one of their baseball players 20, 30 minutes in the morning to work with football coaches during baseball season. Grateful for him. He allowed Hodge to come in there at 7:30 twice a week just to work on things, footwork, boot action. We didn't change our offense necessarily. We just changed some terminology, changed the way that we word things and how we call plays. So being able to get him in, get Xander Hodge in there in the mornings and just kind of give him play calls and let him work through his steps. It was a huge, tremendous help when baseball season ended and he came to us the last week of spring ball, being able to just kind of hit the ground running and not having to kind of take a step back to teach him terminology and footwork and things like that.
Feels like this season, no matter how it goes for either Westmoreland or for Xander, it will be so important for how things go for him next year. Just a year of experience under the belt of varsity high school football.
Right, absolutely. Since I've been here, going on year 4, Xander would be the first quarterback since I've been here. I think Cameron Eden a few years back started a few years, but since I've been here, Cameron was a senior when I came in. He'll be the first quarterback I've seen that start as a junior.
An extra year.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's huge at any level, not just high school, any level where you can get a quarterback, because I think you mentioned earlier with Coach Harris about just having a senior quarterback come in and then the next year it's another guy. So having a guy like Xander be able to play as a junior and then a senior, it'll be big for the offense. He's already, in just a short couple months, being able to understand the offense. He's gotten to the point where if I make a mistake in a play call or something we're talking, he will. He can correct it on the spot. He can line his backs up in the right spot, line everybody up. So just having one more year of that is just huge in terms of just overall knowledge and experience.
It builds chemistry with the skill position players that he'll be working with. Also
Absolutely.
some younger guys as well, right?
Yes,
in
sir.
that group? Is that, running backs, receivers, are those kind of juniors as well, or do you have a senior
Absolutely.
group?
So Aaron Freeman, our starting tailback, he's a junior. Isaiah Scandon behind him, sophomore. Braxton Cook, I heard was mentioned earlier. He's a junior as well.
So there's time for these guys to really mesh not only this year, but to know how each other operate for next year as well.
Absolutely. On the other side, Dylan Gann and James Urell are both, Urell's a junior and Dylan Gann's a sophomore. So all these guys are whole backfield, and our quarterback gets to come back next year. So it gives us, 2 years to work on just learning each other and the chemistry and how they run routes and handoff points and things like that. So it's really exciting to get all these guys back.
And all of that said, I think you'd want to emphasize that Westmoreland's still going to try to be competitive this year
Absolutely.
after a really strong season last year. How motivated have you seen these players be to follow up that success?
Absolutely. Extremely motivated. We had a great group of seniors last year, and I think that leadership is probably one of the most important things you can have as a team. And the group we had last year were such tremendous leaders that the juniors and seniors now coming up are trying to follow in their footsteps and be leaders and hold each other accountable. And I think player-led teams are the ones that do, make deep runs in the playoffs and win state championships. And that's what I've seen the most out of this group is you've got some kids that have stepped up that we didn't think were going to, and then you've got some kids that have become leaders and that weren't necessarily in that leadership role the past couple of years. So I think they're just doing a tremendous job, just showing up every day and competing.
One more for Westmoreland assistant coach Ian Hafner on Sumner County Media Days. It just so happens that we keep getting girls flag football coaches on our show as well, with the overlap of football and girls flag football. How would you describe that first season that you guys got to have last year?
I think it was extremely fun. I've never coached girls. Honestly, might like it more than coaching boys. They listen. They actually listen, and they're just great. They're good to be around. I didn't have any problems. They show up every single day. They do what you ask. The hardest part was, with it being a first-year program, there were a few girls on my team that knew nothing about football, and no disrespect to them at all. It's just a sport that hasn't been popular in women for a while, or at all, really.
Right.
So allowing us to create, bring that new sport in, it was just a great experience, and we had a lot of fun with it.
Thank you to Westmoreland assistant Ian Hafner. Some Beach fans, check in on this episode, because you've got a legend right here with us on Sumner County Media Days. We're going to take one final break. When we come back, got a very special guest, one related to Coach Ryan Harris, coming up. Stay tuned.
What do you look for when searching for a realtor? Experience? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has been a realtor in Sumner County for 30 years. Number of houses sold? Steve Schrum with Simply Home has sold over 1,000 homes. Leadership in the field? Steve Schrum with Simply Home, president of the Sumner Realtors in 2004 and 2018. Awards: Steve Schrum with Simply Home 2006-2016 Realtor of the Year for Sumner Realtors. What do the clients say? Steve Schrum with Simply Home is knowledgeable, professional, and kind with a super work ethic. Steve Schrum with Simply Home sells 99% of his homes quickly and for top dollar, and communicates from the beginning to the end of the process. Your homework is now done. Steve Schrum with Simply Home is the realtor for the job. Call Steve Schrum with Simply Home today at 615-473-6633. Visit Steve at steveschrum.com or stop by and say hello at 118 Saundersville Road, Suite 150, Hendersonville, Tennessee, 37075.
Volunteer Fence is your one-stop shop for all your fencing needs. If you need assistance with residential, commercial, gates, and handrails, trust the company with over 45 years of fencing experience, Volunteer Fence. Located in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Volunteer Fence services customers in Middle Tennessee, including Hendersonville, Gallatin, Lebanon, White House, Smyrna, Nashville, Springfield, Brentwood, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and the surrounding areas. Call Volunteer Fence at 615-822-6530 for a free estimate, or visit www.volunteerfencellc.com.
At the Farmers Bank, nothing means more to us than helping our customers grow. We take pride in supporting our neighbors, creating customized solutions and building strong communities, one relationship at a time. It's simple. We're just local people making local decisions. We're as community gets. We'd love to be part of your success. Visit any of our 9 Middle Tennessee locations or visit us online to get started. The Farmers Bank, improving lives in the markets we serve.
The best indoor go-kart racing experience is here in Nashville, Tennessee. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is a world-class entertainment venue that is designed to help keep you entertained and engaged whether you're on or off the track. If you want to experience indoor karting yourself, are interested in hosting a fun party for a friend or loved one, or would like to plan a corporate function, we'll be here to help. K1 Speed Nashville by Will Power is open 7 days a week. Visit k1speed.com/Nashville for more details. K1 Speed Nashville is located at 404 Davidson Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Call 615-242-3275 or visit k1speed.com/Nashville. K1 Speed Nashville, the best and fastest indoor go-kart racing in Nashville.
Closing out our Westmoreland segment of Sumner County Media Days is Sumner County sports historian and cousin of new head football coach Ryan Harris. You guys probably know him more than you know me. Craig Harris, thank you so much for joining us, and really glad to have you talk a little bit about Ryan and talk a lot about the history of Sumner County sports.
Sure, absolutely. Blaine, thank you so much, man, for having me on. And it's a pleasure, and been looking forward to it.
Kind of run through, for those that are unfamiliar, how long you were in the Sumner County sports landscape.
Sure.
When we were off air, you mentioned you started at the News Examiner in the late 90s, right?
That's right. So graduated from MTSU in 1998 and was so blessed to get a job at the local newspaper that I had been reading for years, which was the Gallatin News Examiner. Some of your listeners probably remember the Gallatin News Examiner. We covered all of Sumner County. And so I was there from 1998 through 2015 as a sports writer and then the sports editor. And it was awesome. Worked with some great people. Transitioned, went to the Tennessean for a couple of years. And from there, I started managing newspapers. Became the editor of the Macon County Times in Lafayette, the Hartsville Vidette, and then the Lebanon Democrat. So I was managing them the last few years. And so journalism's been really good to me. And, man, love Sumner County. I still live here in Sumner County. So, I feel like I've been entrenched in the Sumner County sports landscape for a long time, really, you know.
Something I wanted to ask you as a younger journalist, just for my own sake, what advice from somebody who was in it for such a long time would you give to somebody who's still kind of fresh in full-time sports journalism?
So, Blaine, you're doing a great job. Absolutely great job. Have so much respect for the time and the work that you and that Main Street puts in covering high school sports. I'm constantly scouring the internet myself, looking for quality content, looking for things just so that I can stay informed on what's going on, not just here in Sumner County specifically, but across the state. So I appreciate what you guys do. If I had to offer any bit of advice, it would just simply be, you be you and be genuine, treat people well, and ultimately that's going to be appreciated and will pay off in the long run, in all honesty. I've just found out that people appreciate someone who is very real, very transparent with them, and they typically reciprocate after that. It helps to build that level of trust. And once you have a level of trust, it certainly makes your job a lot easier when you're working with people.
For sure. Well, I really appreciate that, and appreciate the kind words, too. I was telling Craig off air that even still, anytime I'm looking for a coaching change from about 10, 15 years ago, there is some sort of Tennessean article that comes up. You did great work in this county, and your work is appreciated from me.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about your cousin, Ryan,
Yeah.
Now the head coach at Westmoreland. What stories do you have? What kind of head coach is Westmoreland getting in its now promoted defensive coordinator?
Yeah, so, Ryan and I, it's kind of a unique situation. My mom and his dad are brother and sister. We're both an only child. You might say an only brat, right? So for our whole lives, we've been really close. We are first cousins, but almost like brothers in a sense, And so I've kind of been trekking along with Ryan the whole way from his high school playing days all the way up through college. And I don't know if you guys really got into this much. A lot of people may not know Ryan's first job was actually out in West Tennessee. He was a volunteer assistant at Gleason High School for a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he was still working on his degree at UT Martin at the time. Coached for a year at Gleason, had a great experience with head coach Noah Lampkins out there. And I think they went to the playoffs, may have even won their playoff opener, made it to the second round. And for a lot of people who don't know, Gleason is a really tiny little town out in West Tennessee, and so that was a big deal for them, so he got to be a part of that. And then his first job was actually with Coach Crabtree at Beach, and everybody in Sumner County knows what the Beach program has grown into and become, all of the success they have had for many years now. Even really goes back to before Coach Crabtree with Coach Roger Holmes. He kind of laid a foundation there in the 90s of success. And then when Coach Crabtree came in, somewhere around 2005, somewhere in that neighborhood, I think, he took it and ran with it. And Ryan, I think his first year there was 2008, coached there through 2011. They won the state title in 2009, so he got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So what an amazing experience, for a 23, 24-year-old coach, to get to be on a staff that has – that level of success. That was huge for him. And again, I don't know what you and Ryan talked about during your segment, but he had the opportunity to go back to Westmoreland and coach with his dad. His dad was the head coach. So he went back to Westmoreland in 2012 and became the defensive coordinator there, and has been the defensive coordinator at Westmoreland from 2012 through 2024, I guess. I guess it's still continuing on, really.
Yeah, taking that on top of the coaching roles.
So, it's been a really neat a career that he's had. I've kind of had a front row seat for that.
Yeah.
He and I talk a lot, and so thrilled for him, the success that he's had as a coach, and I hope it continues for him.
In the time that you were in Sumner County writing, did you have a soft spot for those teams that he was on and really trying to see, enjoying those successes that he would have?
It's an interesting thing, not only when you're covering family, which I did that for a while, but also when you're covering friends, and some of those coaches over the years became friends, and so, it's one of those things. You have better relationships with some coaches than you do others. And you don't intend for that to be the case, but it just evolves into that, right?
Yeah, just how that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And that being said, though, sure, there's a part of you that hopes that they have success, but you just keep that out of your writing.
Right.
So sometimes there might be inside information that that you just have to keep out of your writing. And just handle it as professional as possible, right?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I think you're probably glad to be out of the business for is the recent stadium renovations, the whole bleacher mania that happened around here. How do you kind of view that? I mean, did you ever... You can't foresee something like that happening. That was just such a bizarre situation to cover. What was your perspective of it, seeing it from afar?
I'll be honest with you. I really didn't know what to make of it because it was odd how that so many different stadiums had these issues right at the same time, And I think we talk about this a lot in the Middle Tennessee area. Nashville doesn't have the infrastructure to handle all of the growth that it's experiencing population-wise, right? I mean, there was no foresight. Well, I'm not sure that we had a lot of foresight as far as some of these stadium issues as well. Maybe there should have been some things done, and I'm not blaming anyone,
Yeah, right.
But maybe there should have been some things done to kind of maybe head some of these things off at the pass. I know administrators at schools are busy. I know football coaches are busy. They probably don't think that those types of things are necessarily their responsibility, maybe, right? So, it's interesting what's going on right now, but it's also encouraging. I just saw some photos a few minutes ago of Beach High School and the new stands that are going up there.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see. I know at Westmoreland, Ryan's been sharing with me the progress that they've been having. They've got a new fence going up. They've got, new lights that are going in. So they're getting some upgrades and enhancements. Portland, I drove by Hendersonville High School last weekend and noticed that there on the home side, there are no stands currently, right?
Supposed to be in by now.
Yeah, and they may be. It's been a few days,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, that's exciting at the same time. I saw those photos of the beach stands, and it looks beautiful. It looks mammoth.
It does. Mammoth is a good word there.
Yeah, if they can fill those stands, what a home field advantage it'll be for the Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, and you can't really talk about the evolving or the current state of Sumner County sports without bringing that up. But even beyond that, how have you witnessed these sports teams grow and develop and really just get to another level over the years that you were a sports writer here?
Sure. I think all along the way, it's been a gradual progression, essentially. And what I mean by that is I think all of these sports for many years have been going in a trend to where they are becoming more and more year-round. We know that. That's challenging. It's challenging for the players on their bodies. It's challenging for the parents, for the coaches of those programs. And I think it's more heightened now than ever. You're seeing some elite level players that have been playing multiple sports, giving up a sport, and maybe they're an elite player in that sport that they're giving up in order to pursue, maybe more of a college route in a different sport, right? So the specialization, it's been going on for a long time. We know that. I think it just increases more and more and more. I think my concern ultimately is that, I hope that people are being cognizant of taking care of these athletes, not only their bodies, but also mentally. Because it's so hard to stay mentally invested when you never get a break, when it's
sure.
continuously. And so that's one of the things that I see. We were talking about facilities. I know there's been a lot of chatter over the last few years over Liberty Creek. Magnificent facilities. Oh, my gosh. How beautiful is that football stadium? But all of their athletic complexes, gymnasium, everything.
Yeah.
It's elite. It's beautiful. And now it seems like we're trending in a direction to where some of these other schools are, upgrading facilities. So it'll be interesting to see what it all looks like when everything is completed, for sure.
Some wise words from longtime Sumner County sports writer Craig Harris. All right, we've gotten all that out of the way. Look back on your career and pinpoint your favorite game that you've covered. We'll talk football to start, since that's the topic of our media days. Is there one that stands out in your career that you covered?
Wow, that's a great question. I hadn't thought about that. So, was fortunate to get to cover some state championship games. My first year right out of college, was fortunate to cover Hendersonville playing Oakland when it was still the Clinic Bowl, played at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
Yeah, 1998. Hendersonville lost that night, but that for some reason that's not necessarily that game stands out in terms of the way that it ended or the excitement level, but just for me personally, it was really neat to experience that as a young journalist,
Yeah, great opportunity.
I was thinking about this, earlier today. It was really neat to watch Jalen Hurd in 2012 run for 395 yards and 7 touchdowns in the state championship game and a win over Columbia.
Just to watch Jalen Hurd start there, but to
right.
have that historic, probably never going to see a performance like that again.
Right.
That must have been incredible.
It was just, you hear, references made to players putting up stats that are video game-ish. That's what Jay Leonard did, and he did it week after week after week. He was an amazing athlete. It was amazing watching Golden Tate, Pope John Paul.
Yeah.
I can remember back in 2006, his senior year, just watching him run, and it felt like his feet just floated on the turf there at Pope John Paul. I mean, he just had such a burst, such a level of quickness. And a lot of people wouldn't think about this. Portland won the state title in 2000, and I think it was the first Blue Cross Bowl that was played at MTSU. Portland wins it in 2000, beat Covington 43-0. That's one of the best football teams that I believe that I've seen here in Sumner County. Portland might have actually been better the next year, and they got upset in the quarterfinals by Trousdale County and didn't win it. But that was the most dominating championship game performance that I've seen.
Some great athletes that you named there that you got to witness. Who were some of your favorite coaches to interview? No disrespect to any of them that Craig covered in his time, but I really want to know who some of your favorites were.
It's a wonderful question. And I said this earlier, one of the things that I always have tried to do, and this is not just professionally, but it's personally, is to build relationships with people. I think that's really important, just to be real and genuine with people. And so having been in Sumner County for a long period of time, that really helps. The longer you're somewhere, the more people are familiar with you, the more they trust you, right?
Yeah.
Man, and I could go on and on. I covered a lot of Portland sports. Rob and Ginger Leisman, volleyball coaches at Portland.
Historic volleyball coaches at Portland, yeah.
They're some of my favorite people, much less coaches, and they did such a wonderful job for years and years and years. I think about White House, and was Coach Lamberth has had so much success on the soccer field as an elite assistant football coach. Coach Porter, that led the football program there for so long. I feel like in doing this, I'm leaving so many people out. Coach Luna at Gallatin. I had so many wonderful conversations after games, wins and losses with Coach Luna. Class act. He deserves every ounce of credit that he has received for all the success that he's had. And I still cross paths with some of these people, and it's so wonderful to see them. Saw Coach Hendricks. I was eating dinner at Coach Hendricks, the baseball coach at Hendersonville for a long time. Saw him recently at a restaurant here in Hendersonville, and we talked for 30 minutes in the middle of dinner. Love Coach Hendricks, Coach Gilly. There's so many, but I'm so thankful for having had the opportunity to interact with all those people, get to know them, and for those relationships that we shared.
Coach Luna ever drink Sundrop around you? I profiled him going up to his 500th win, and that was one of the things I heard the most about Coach Luna was that he loves his Sundrop.
That might have been a pregame drink for him. He didn't usually have one in the postgame, which is usually when I was talking to him.
Yeah.
So.
Do you look back? Do you reflect on kind of all of that and your career as a sports writer? How do you kind of reflect on it, look back on it? Do you miss it?
I miss the people. I don't, and that's why I say I have so much respect for you and all the wonderful sports writers that I've worked with over the years and that I still get to read their stories. You guys are out there, and what most people don't realize is your night doesn't end when the ball game ends.
Yeah.
You still have plenty to do. Not just interviews. You may be going back to the office to deal with photos, get stuff online, to write stuff up, to post updates. I don't miss all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't mind doing it, but I don't miss all of that. It's nice to be able to leave a high school sporting event and just go home, But the people, I miss them. And like I said, it's awesome when I get to cross paths with them. Some of them I still keep in touch with. Some of them are good friends of mine. So I look back on it, and I would just say that I was so blessed. I was so blessed to be able to get to do what I got to do for so long. And who knows what the future holds. Maybe one day, I'll be back dabbling in the journalism industry, You never know. But for right now, so just so thankful for all that time and all those relationships that I got to experience.
Yeah, for now, don't say you miss it too much. Otherwise, I'll be calling needing a stringer. Craig Harris, thank you so much for closing out our Westmoreland segment of Sumner County Media Days. Thank you to Birdie Bros for hosting and for our sponsors. Volunteer Fence, K1 Speed, the Farmers Bank, and Steve Schrum, Simply Home Realty. Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar signing off, and continuing our segment in a few hours with Beach and Hendersonville. Thanks so much for joining us.